All right, let's have a quick little discussion about these Farmertech clone saws. I said I would make a video about them. They're a phenomenal tool. I do like them quite a bit. I don't know that I wouldn't have gotten into running larger saws had it not been for these pieces of equipment here. That orange one has always run phenomenally. It's done very, very, very well. The only thing that's ever failed on it was the kill switch. The kill switch has broken 2 times, I believe. It's just gone bad. They're really inexpensive, and I don't know if the OEM ones would do much better, but my assumption is that they probably would. The rest of the saw has been great. That orange one's pictured with a 24-inch bar, and the blue one has a 20-inch bar on it. I've done quite a bit of cutting with these. You know, I've fallen lots of trees, pines and oaks. That orange one has always started. The blue one has way less time on it. That saw has not been as, I wouldn't say it's been as good as the orange one. And that blue one's a little newer. That blue one, I had the coil fail on it really shortly after getting it. I reached out to Holzfforma, or whatever brand they are. Let's see here. Yeah, it says Holzfforma on the side there. I reached out to them, and they went ahead and replaced it. The coil, well, actually, I'm sorry, they gave me a credit. I don't remember exactly. A lot of times what they do is they give you a credit, and you can purchase it somewhere else, or you can wait for a month or whatever to get it directly from China. That saw has run pretty much consistently every time I've tried to run it. Now, recently I was cutting with it, and it's always been a little rich. Saw's always been a little rich. Well, I decided, you know, I had enough time on it. I'd go ahead and lean it out a little bit. I might like to run them rich a little bit when they're new, newish, just to keep a little bit more fuel in there. I don't know if that's exactly necessary, but I do it anyway. So I turned in that high jet just a hair, and then that son of a gun gave me fits. It gave me fits. It started acting like it was going lean. It started, you know, bogging, and then just singing, and then just running really weird. And basically, I feel like there was something up with that OEM carb. I'm sorry, the Farmertech or Holzfforma OEM carb on that thing. It just wouldn't run for anything. You couldn't tune it. You just couldn't tune it. So I went ahead and bought another Chinese carb, and now it runs way better. It's way more tunable. I wouldn't say, though, it runs like that orange one, though. That orange one has always just ran very, very well. I mean, the carb is, I would say it's a little bit finicky, but it isn't beyond, it's not so frustrating you can't use it. Air cleaners, all that stuff has been phenomenal. Now, one of my biggest gripes, you'll notice, they are sitting in an old cooking tin, or pie tin, or not a pie tin, a cookie sheet out of the kitchen. They leak profusely, and they always have, ever since the beginning. Okay? I got to a point where I just started dumping the bar oil back out of it when I was done, because I feel like it would all run out of them. And that's both of them. It's not just one or the other. Now I want to show you something here. Look at these saws. I have these up here on purpose for a reason. I don't just display them. I like looking at them, but I don't display them. That's a brand new Echo 620. That's a fairly new-ish. It's actually almost 2 years old. It's new to me. That is a newish 545. These have oil in them, and that is a 310. This thing is coming up on almost 5 years old. Echo CS310. I can have these sitting here on my on my OSB top here, and they don't leave a big puddle. I did have a little bit of a puddle here, this little dark spot. That came from, I want to say, the 545. I think it was buildup from running it. You know how it builds up inside the chain cover? I think it just ran down into there because it has not had any more puddles. I cleaned it all out, and anyway, it's good. So anyway, that's the difference. These saws right here, I know at some point in time they're going to leak. I know it. These ones leak always. Okay? Now, as a tool, I've cut a lot. Like I said, I've cut a lot of trees with that saw right there. You know, I have a sawmill. I've milled, you know, darn near 100 logs on that sawmill, and that right there fell a majority of the trees, bucked them up, limbed them up, did everything, primarily. So anyway, it's been a good tool. I cannot complain. I took the top end off of the blue one. I took the top end off one time when I thought maybe there was something wrong with it, when I determined that the carburetor was bad. Now, I took it off. It looked brand new inside. I don't think there's any air leak. I shot like brake cleaner on the PTO side. There was never an issue. Never an issue. I just truly do think the bad carburetor setup that these things come with, it's not a bad setup, it's just poor quality carbs. I think that's what the issue is. Now, I've never had a pull start failure or anything else. The fasteners are a little bit wimpy. They do, the heads like to strip, and I did lose a couple bolts off the muffler here, off that little bracket. That's it. Everything else has been good. The caps don't leak. That's not what's leaking on these things. It's coming out of the PTO, the oiling side of the saw. So, I have been contemplating, part of when I got this 620, the Echo that you may have seen in my videos, one of my desires was to possibly replace those saws with the 620, and the 620 is not as strong as that 372 XP clone, that orange one. It is not. Now, with time, with break-in, and with maybe some slight modifications, that saw could very closely match it, I believe. Of course, if I were to modify that 372, it would kill the 620. However, the 620 I think is enough for me, because what I'm doing, I don't need really anything bigger than that saw. It pulls the 24-inch bar nicely in oak, and that's fine. I've got a 27-inch bar. I've yet to try it, yet to run it. I really don't think I'm going to have very much opportunity to get anything much bigger. And if I ever find that I want something bigger, I think I might want to go more like the 90cc route. I have like a 90, a 60, a 50, and then I've got that little 310. So anyway, that's my 2 bits on those Farmertech saws. I do not want to talk poorly on them. They serve a purpose. They are a great way to get a good, powerful saw to get some work done. If you've got a little bit of work, or if you've got a large tree that fell over on your property and your saws just aren't capable, it's going to take you a week to cut it up. It's a great saw to purchase, so that way you can zip through the project. So they definitely serve a purpose, I think. I don't think that that they're a bad deal. I really don't. Now, you do have to have patience. Patience is required. You have to be a tinkerer. If you do not tinker with, if you don't want to tinker on with anything, okay, then they're not right for you. Go get a saw with a warranty at a shop, where if it's running a little weird or something's wrong with it, you can just take it in, hand it in to them, and say, hey, take care of this. I just got this a month ago. run it 2 times, it's not working right. Do that. But if you want to save a heck of a lot of money, okay? I mean, to go to a store and buy a 372 X Torque now, if you can find one, they're well over $1,000. The 572 XPs are quite pricey, and good grief, if you go over to Stihl, I mean, they're going to want $1,200 or $1,300 for an equivalent as far as size. I mean, gosh darn, I got a quote. I went and looked at a 362 XP, which is closer to that 620. The local dealer wanted, with the largest bar they'd sell it with no full wrap. It was not available from the factory. They wanted, I want to say it was about $1,000 for a 362. So, you know, if you pay $300 for a 72cc saw, that's phenomenal. But understand, it's going to come with $300 price tag problems, and you got to tinker with it. Okay, I mean, you've really got to tinker with every chainsaw eventually, but it comes a little earlier with those. You've got to learn how to tune. You've got to learn how to replace switches. You have to you know, replace fasteners periodically. Plastics are, I think, a little bit more brittle on them. But anyway, hey, that's my 2 bits, guys. Let me know what you think. This is nothing new. This is just my experience. It echoes what a lot of people have said. I wouldn't hesitate to, you know, someday maybe to buy a 660 version. The 660 would be pretty cool to have. Understanding that you're going to have to mess with it. And FarmerTech, they will give you credits back, but good grief, man. It takes 4 or 5 emails with pictures and verification. You spell it out in clear English, write it all out, okay? Very clearly, no vagueness at all. And then they ask you more questions. And I don't know what it is. I heard something out there, so I need to go check on it. Anyway, guys, I would not hesitate to purchase one as long as you have the right expectations. Don't expect service from a dealer network. Don't expect service from FarmerTech. They're overseas. There's language barriers. There's barriers. There's shipping barriers. Certainly value barriers. If you have a coil problem, I mean, you might get a credit of like $10. I don't know exactly what it is, but you know, those switches, I mean, if you look on the FarmerTech site, I mean, gosh darn, there's stuff on that they sell for less than $1, you know, and it's like $7 to ship, or it could be a ton of money to ship, but the parts are really cheap. So when they assign a credit, they credit back the value of the parts that they would sell you. So, you know, if the recoil starter breaks or something like that, you're not going to get $30 or $40 credit back to buy one locally to get in a timely fashion. So understand that. The warranty is so short. By the time you get the saw, by the time you run it, by the time something comes up, the warranty is almost pointless. You're going to fight with them a little bit, so understand that. I've had them take care of numerous things, but you're gonna have to email back and forth and be diligent and be patient. That's what it takes. But that's the barrier to entry. That's the cost of entry to have an inexpensive saw. So, what am I going to do with these things? Well, I think I'm going to post them on Facebook Marketplace. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. I always like to repurpose. You know, if I sell saws, I'm probably going to buy a saw. I'll probably buy, I don't know what I'm buying yet. I'm thinking about one of those Echo 2511Ts. I think that's what it's called. The little tiny top handle. And the reason why is I've actually got the John Cutter G2500. That's been a great tool. I have climbed some trees with it. That's been an awesome little top handle, but I wouldn't mind having a little bit better quality of one. So if I sell these and that John Cutter, I might be able to pick me up an Echo, possibly. Just trying to reduce some of the clutter, You know, I wouldn't mind hanging on to, especially that orange one. I love it. It sounds so good. My Echo sounds, in my opinion, like garbage. Even if I were to do a muffler mod, there's just something about a 372 exhaust note that is absolutely phenomenal. Cannot criticize the design. That goes, credit goes to Husky there. So guys, thank you for watching. These are going to be my primary workhorses at this point. CS310 for light work, very light work. 545 for a lot of stuff, and when I want something longer bar, longer bucks, the 620 I think is going to serve its purpose. I'm very happy with, very happy with how that saw runs and pulls. It bothers me that they do that burble. It absolutely bothers me, especially after learning how to tune a saw out of those Holzfformas. However, the saw, I'm hoping, will last a real long time. I've got a warranty on it, and it doesn't leak oil. So I'm very happy with that. There you are. Comment what you think. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.